Yo, I was gonna start this video off yelling and screaming because of what I'm about to tell you, but instead I decided to just take a chill pill at the beginning because I know with time, over the course of the next 10 minutes talking about this, I'm gonna go insane and I'm gonna burst out into screaming and hype anyways. So, what the hell am I going on about? Well, this was first reported by people on Reddit. This was thanks partially, half in part to Extra Reddit and half in part to WPJW, whatever the hell that name means. So thank you both for doing good work. But basically, this is a combination of data mining and poor hiding of internal resources by the new forum. So I'll give you a bit more detail. So the first thing was a data mined unreleased event token that presumably will be for the next event, i.e. the next update in Marvel Future Fight. And if you guys have looked at a calendar recently, Endgame is not the next update. There should be at least one more update in between. So this is presumably the next update that's coming in about 3 to 4 weeks. Now again, all of this is speculation. All of this is conjecture. Do not take what I'm saying as the truth and the fact of the matter. But if we are to believe the unreleased event token, it's very similar to the pre-release event token we got for a lot of the X-Men and Deadpool updates. And that does synergize extremely well. And it basically fits like a glove with what I'm about to show you. Now, what I'm about to show you is possibly spoilers for a new update. So if you really hate that stuff, why, man? Just mute the video, go to another tab, and keep watching because I need the click. Now, what am I talking about? Well, when Netmarble migrated the forums over from Moberum to their official Netmarble forums, they had, I guess, a bunch of game files that are not live in the game. I mean, we can't see them. They may be in the game, but we can't see them, and they are for character icons. And so if you use the exact link and you type in the full link, but you replace the last ending character instead of saying like SV, which would be supervillain, underscore Thanos, which would be for Thanos' default look. If you change that to, oh, I don't know, SV Juggernaut, you actually get a Marvel Future Fight icon. And this can actually be repeated several times over for different characters. Now, I don't want to blow your speakers, so I'm going to try to calm myself down. But potentially, possibly, there is a chance. So you're saying there's a chance? Insert Jim Carrey meme. There is a chance that we could be getting another X-Force update, another X-Men mutant update for the next update in 3 to 4 weeks, which somehow is more hype than both Captain Marvel and Avengers Endgame, which is blowing my mind right now. And what exactly could we be getting? Well, based on the revealed and the kind of, they're not really data mined, they're more like discovered, data discovered, data stumbled upon after some clever URL manipulation, the following characters and uniforms. So we've got new character Juggernaut, new character Sabertooth, new character Warpath. Yeah, baby, Warpath. Fuck yeah, that dude's a boss. On top of that, we've got new uniforms. I can't believe I'm saying this. New uniforms for Deadpool, which is a miracle. Double miracle, new uniform for Nightcrawler. Yeah, that's right. Nightcrawler's potentially getting an X-Force uniform. And we'll talk about what that means for the character. But beyond all of those, the number one uniform that is being teased from these kind of spoilers / unreleased icons, and that's why I'm wearing this shirt, because it's fucking Christmas for me, man. It's Wolverine. That's right. Wolverine's getting, hopefully, sometime in the very near future, an X-Force uniform. Now, he's still a hero with that, in case you're wondering. But there's a lot more to cover because that is just the potential news. There could definitely be more than that. There could definitely be other things involved. Hopefully there's some game mode changes and buffs. Hopefully new Shadowland stages, etc., etc. However, I do have to say I'm extremely excited and a little bit scared for this update. Now, of course, new villains, especially mutant villains, I am always 100% on deck for. The possibility of new world bosses, World Boss Juggernaut, giant battle. I don't know, Galactus or something. Whatever, man. I know that has nothing to do with Juggernaut. I'm just really, really hyped for Sabretooth and Juggernaut. New combat villains, the revival of the combat class, starting with Minerva. Wait, oh shit. If Juggernaut's a villain and he's combat, is he gonna replace Minerva for ABX 1 month later? Ooh, well, let's wait and see. Anywho, beyond that, I do want to discuss more specifically, because I think discussing the new characters beyond some general beliefs, i.e., could Sabretooth or Juggernaut be better than Minerva for Extreme Alliance battle? And again, they would only be better than her for one of the days. Well, yeah, one of the days, because Captain America already does the combat male day. I think it might be combat hero. Minerva is the only one available for combat female, other than female Cap, and Juggernaut and Sabretooth are not females. So they would only be available for that one day, and they're also not available for supervillain female. So don't worry too much if what I said scared you about a minute ago. Juggernaut and Sabretooth could only possibly replace Minerva for one of the existing days, which is the classic supervillain combat day that Apocalypse was dominating. But anyways, it's not a big deal. What is a big deal is the uniforms. That's actually possibly more of an impact game changer than the characters. And we'll start with Nightcrawler because he's the worst of the three characters that are potentially getting uniforms. Nightcrawler came into the game with Gambit, and he came into the game with Sentinel and with Giant Boss Raid, and everybody was like, wow, Gambit, wow, Sentinel, GBR, eh. And then Nightcrawler was just left behind in the dust. Completely irrelevant character. Not only irrelevant in terms of the damage that he does, which is completely garbage, but he's just such a boring character because, yeah, he does emulate, he does kind of look like what you expect Nightcrawler to look like in the game. He's here, and then he teleports, and he punches you from this side, and then he teleports, and then he punches you from that side. So, you know, Netmarble, they flip through a few Nightcrawler comics, and they're like, okay, he goes bamf, and then he punches you behind you. Very cool. So we're gonna give him 5 iframe skills. That's cool. That's really cool. And then they decided to do this little thing with tiny little creepy mini baby bamfs that are blue, and they also attack you. That's fine. Whatever. He's constantly giving birth to children. That's fine. But I had to sneeze. But the character has no soul. The character has no signature anything. He just plays like a generic random insert speed character with iframes character. He has literally less interesting abilities than one of the Spider characters, and those are all just kind of duplicates of each other. So I think Netmarble really needs to take a look at this character most of all, and needs to really build a character that has some unique. So as I was saying before my nose interrupted me, they need to rework Nightcrawler, not just by boosting his damage by 500%. That would work in terms of making the character functional, but the character wouldn't actually be fun to play because you just sit there and you go 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, and you just chain iframes, and there's just no interesting character interaction or behavior to the character, and there's very little that makes you feel like you're playing as Nightcrawler besides actually visually seeing the character in the game. And because he's constantly iframing, you're actually not even really seeing him. So it would be nice if Netmarble could possibly change some of his skills so that instead of being iframes, they just give him immunity or they give him invincibility, and you can actually see him bouncing around, and it's not an iframe skill, because when it's an iframe skill, you see this big red X. And I just do hope that they put more effort into this character and they make him more unique. You know, Gambit is such a unique character, and if you compare Nightcrawler and Gambit, it's like night and day. Gambit is a very is a very unique character, and he has a very set way of playing that fits with his style. He's high damage, but he's also super fragile. He's not a character that has a lot of stamina or has a lot of endurance. And you see the cards, you see the play with the staff, and he really fits that lucky streak with the crit damage increase. It all makes sense. Everything fits thematically with the character based on what you see in the comics. Nightcrawler, honestly, is just generic speed character with this gimmick of summons. It's very, very boring. If anything, they should give him something like they gave Invisible Woman and Spider-Man 2099, where when he gets hit, maybe Into the Shadow passive could be changed. When he gets hit, he bamfs away. He kind of just poofs away, and he gets, 2 seconds of invincibility or 1 second of invincibility and visibility, and he gets 2 guard hits or something like that. Just like the Lila AI and Invisible Woman's passive. That would kind of make sense. So that's something I'm looking very carefully and looking forward to. The second thing I do have to cover is Wolverine. My boy Wolverine. Now, I don't even want to speculate. Don't get me started on potential tier 3s for this update, because if it's Wolverine, you know what the hell's going down. Don't even front. You know who I'm getting tier 3. I don't give a shit how good or how bad his tier 3 is. This shit is happening instantaneously. Well, as long as I get the potential unlocked, which if they screw with me on that, I'm going to be making some phone calls. Anyways, as far as Wolverine's uniform go, as far as buffs are concerned, he basically just needs more damage. There's not really anything else that Wolverine is missing. He doesn't really need iframes. He has some penetration already, and you could give him more with the CTP of Destruction. He could get a little bit more penetration, but it's kind of like Deadpool's current kit. He has self buffs, and he has 1 skill with penetration. He has the all defense down, sure, and he has some guaranteed crit rate, 10%. But besides the all defense down, there's really not a lot that separates him from Wolverine, besides that and the penetration. So rather than, or instead of making Wolverine exactly like Deadpool, because I really don't want that, and I don't think Wolverine really has that all defense down that Deadpool does. They could give him different attributes. They could give him Fracture, for example, because he applies such heavy bleeds with the adamantium claws, and he slashes, and he really goes for those super spicy crits. And so because of that, they could give him Fracture on a couple of skills. He could stack those. He could be kind of the yang to Deadpool's yin, being a combat type, but having the same heal, but being able to apply Fracture to basically shut down Deadpool's healing factor and kind of dicing him, shish kebabbing him into tiny little meat cubes. That would probably be the best way that I could think of off the top of my head to make Wolverine better. He doesn't need any more defense. He doesn't really need any more healing. Having a combat type's stat bumps, he's got way higher base stats than Deadpool will have. So even though he has less healing, it kind of equals out. But I am excited to see what they do with Wolverine for his X-Force uniform. Finally, I do want to cover some potential negatives, and basically the only one is Deadpool. I've already kind of discussed the unfortunate the unfortunate possibility that Deadpool or that Juggernaut could replace Minerva, or that Sabretooth could replace Minerva for one of the ABX days, but that's honestly not the biggest problem in the world. As long as we're not playing as Apocalypse, I don't really care who I'm playing as. But there is a potential problem with giving Deadpool a uniform, and I've said this since the character came out. He's so powerful. He's easily one of the best characters in the game. He's arguably the best character in the game, and he doesn't even have a uniform yet, which is scary, because the other characters that he's compared to, Quicksilver, Captain America Tier 3, Scarlet Witch, all of those characters have uniforms. So the thought of Deadpool getting another 25% all attack and all defense, the thought of Deadpool getting 2 stats that you can buff with HP, if you don't know what I'm talking about, on the uniform, you can roll HP on the 2nd and 3rd slots. So you can get an additional HP stack. Actually, it's much better if I show you with Wolverine, because I believe I did roll HP on both, and that's why Wolverine almost has as much HP as Captain America does at Tier 3. Yeah, so you can give Deadpool another base 4,000 HP if you roll both of these to HP, and you roll extremely high rolls in the top 1%. And of course that takes a lot of gold and whatever, and it takes 2 mythic uniforms, but it's not that difficult. Deadpool with another base 4,000 HP and a CTP of regeneration, you're literally never going to kill him. He's gonna have like 50 or 60,000 HP like Wolverine, except he also has the additional heal of healing factor, which gives him a 50% heal when he's below 20%, which is absolutely insane. So I am a little bit worried that if they build Deadpool's uniform and they actually give him skill changes that are buffs, in addition to all of the buffs that any uniform brings, he will be just too much to handle. Now we're gonna have to wait and see how that rolls out. Possibly the game is gonna turn into Deadpool versus Captain Marvel Tier 3 face off for a couple of months. I don't really know. There's not really much you can do against Deadpool other than iframe ignore when he gets going. He already kills the majority of characters with his 4th skill as soon as you don't cancel it. So, yeah. This one does ring some alarm bells in my head. So we're going to have to watch Deadpool and see when he gets a uniform. It might not be in this next update, I don't know, but when he gets a uniform, what's going to happen? But that is the gist of these leaks. And I am really excited, and yeah, I don't know. I really hope that this is true. I really hope the next update is X-Force, because Wolverine, I can't. I don't have any words. This is not professional. I just, yeah, this is me. This is what I turn into when it's just me and my Wolverine. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. X-Force, again, Wolverine, possibly tier 3, possibly uniform. Woo! Had to give you one. Take care.